So, if you want to get punched, it is a very good idea to walk around every day angry. Alternatively, if you want to have deep, meaningful discussions with random strangers, walking around in a happy state of expectation is probably going to aid you in that effort. Alright, so this is actually my 4th video recorded today. I'm sure that some people are like, oh, Allie, you record so many videos and you look the same in all of them. Like, what's up with that? And the reason for that is, I write the concepts before I make the videos on them. And the reason for that is I kind of like to have a conversational tone, and I like to have an easy flow, partly because I feel like when people edit their videos, I kind of feel like they're hiding something from me, so I do my best not to have to edit the videos. Which doesn't always work out. I kind of want to cut out all the really big pauses, so that's usually what I cut out of videos. But I like to have that kind of flow going on. So I write the videos beforehand so that I kind of know what I'm talking about. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the specifics of the law of attraction and how I believe that works. And I told you in the last video that the reason I believe in the law of attraction is because I think it's of benefit to me. Now, there's a little bit of a roadblock that comes up when you choose to believe something because of its potential benefit to you. And the reason there's a roadblock is because it's like, well, how can you force yourself to believe something? And the easiest answer to that is by giving yourself proof that your belief is true. And that can be a little bit challenging, particularly if you're somebody that trusts in the scientific community. I do not necessarily, so when it came to proving the law of attraction, I wasn't really worried about Dr. Emoto's water crystals thingy, which apparently was debunked or whatever the case may be. That didn't really apply to me. It was a cool concept. There might be some other beliefs in there that are worth considering accepting, whether they are empirically true or not. But we can always talk about that later. So the way I went about proving law of attraction to myself was actually through logical thought and individual testing. As in, I tested the theory within my own life. But before I could do any of that testing, I first had to do a little bit more research on what exactly law of attraction was. In my study of law of attraction, I actually came across this teacher, Abraham Hicks. And a lot of people don't like Abraham Hicks because Abraham is essentially a channeled entity. A woman named Esther kind of goes into a trance state, and she channels a collection of non-spiritual beings that label themselves Abraham because it's easier for us humans to understand. And if you find that a little bit weird, I have no problem with that. It's completely understandable to me that it might weird you out that I'm listening to a channeled entity. And the reason it doesn't bug me, though, is because, honestly, that doesn't matter. What I'm looking for are the ideas, and then I'm taking the ideas and testing them in my own life and thinking about them logically. So, when I found Abraham, I didn't really care about the method in which the information came across. I instead just wanted to know what the information was. And in this way, I was able to sidestep a potential landmine there. I was able to forget about the how and just focus on the what. And if you can't do that, that's totally understandable, totally acceptable, but I can definitely be a little bit of a go-between for you because my method of applying this information is definitely more logic-based, at least in my head. Maybe you don't agree with my logic and it doesn't work for you, and that's totally fine too. One of the funny things, though, about Abraham is that the manner in which I found them, I suppose would be the correct pronoun there, was I was looking for a teacher on the law of attraction, and I found Abraham Hicks, which, according to the law of attraction, is actually a classic example of how the law of attraction works. Similarly, I have never heard an Abraham Hicks video that was too challenging for me to understand at the time of watching it, which is also another example of the law of attraction. You know, I was never introduced to something that would rattle my brain too much before I was ready to handle that, which is actually a very wonderful thing to have happen, because you don't really want to get lost in your brain. And being a very cerebral person, getting lost in my brain is something that I have happened a lot, and I'm grateful to have not had that happen with Abraham Hicks too much. I mean, there are times that some ideas sparked something else that did that, but it wasn't the ideas themselves that usually did. So the main teaching of the law of attraction is that like attracts like. And in the eyes of many people that research the law of attraction, they kind of translate this to mean that if you sit in your room and meditate, everything that you want will eventually come to you. But that's not actually what Abraham discusses. Now, there's a certain concept there that is certainly true, which is if you become a vibrational match, as in you feel good about something that you want, which in your eyes is good, you're far more likely to get it. And I know that's a little bit convoluted of a sentence, but I'll definitely be explaining that more in a second, too. The basic concept of law of attraction is that like attracts like. And the easiest translation of this is that if you feel good, essentially, you will attract more things to you that include that feeling state. You know, like you'll have more experiences that prove your emotional state to you, that match your emotional state, which is kind of cool, which to a certain degree means that everything outside of the emotion feeling creature is kind of neutral, meaning it has a non-focused energy, which does make sense, but it's kind of more like a tool or a neutral. So a hammer, for example, is not good or bad. It could be used for good purposes or it could be used for bad purposes. But let's consider that you need to hammer something. You know that the hammer is somewhere out in the shed, and you're feeling pretty good. You found a task, and you're like, yeah, I'll take care of that. And you go out to the shed, you look around, and after a few minutes of dedicated looking, you find the hammer laying on the ground. Must have fallen off the shelf, so on and so forth. So you pick up the hammer and you go finish your task. Alternatively, you feel frustrated that you have to do this chore, whatever it is. You have to fix whatever it is that needs fixing. So you head out to the shed to find the hammer, feeling upset or angry or frustrated. And as you scavenge around the shelf where you last put the hammer and you're angrily kind of shuffling things around, you happen to find the edge of the hammer with your foot, and the little back piece that pries up nails jabs through your shoe and hurts you. Ouch. Now, in both of these scenarios, you did find the thing that you were looking for, the hammer. But the method in which you got it differed. In one, there was no pain. It wasn't a struggle. You just found the hammer and went on with your task. In the other one, you were hurt by the hammer, which increased your bad mood, and now you go inside, hammer the nail, and probably bash your thumb as well, because you are so out of focus that you're far more likely to hurt yourself. A similar idea is when you are looking for something, you tend to be so desperate to find it that you're focused too narrowly. And that's why you can look in all these different places a million times, but it's only when you decide that you're going to continue on, it doesn't matter really, I'll just leave kind of thing. That's when your eyes are open and you're like, oh my gosh, there it is. And it's usually somewhere really obvious, right in front of your nose, somewhere that you've been looking for it for a really long time. I actually recently found one of my external hard drives. I'd been looking for it for months, and instead, what I did was I printed off a book from my mom, and I was looking for a 3-hole punch. I opened one of the drawers in the desk, and boom, there's my external hard drive. You know, very obvious place for it, but I never considered looking there. You know, it wasn't something that I'd considered in my search. So the second that I wasn't looking for it was exactly when I found it. And that's another example of the law of attraction there as well. So I think part of the reason why people find law of attraction challenging is because many translate it as you can just sit on your butt and meditate all day and everything that you want will come to you. And that's not what Abraham talks about. That's not what most of the law of attraction people talk about. It's just that seems the most logical conclusion to a lot of people. Instead, what Abraham and others like her are saying is that it's much better for you to come into a state of positive belief before you do anything than it is for you to stay in a negative state and then try to accomplish something that you want to accomplish. The best way I can explain this is with my example of $1 million. Let's say you want to earn $1 million. Which state of mind is more likely to get you there? When you believe that $1 million is achievable and that you will find a solution, or when you believe that there is no solution and $1 million is an unachievable goal? Obviously, believing that it's possible to earn $1 million is a much more beneficial state of mind, because it's going to increase your persistence, you're going to remain dedicated to the task for longer, versus if you believe that it is impossible to achieve $1 million, what are the chances that you're even going to try in the first place? And the same can go for any other area of your life. Even with people, if you believe that love is around every corner and walk around throughout the day feeling happy and expectant and ready to find somebody to start a romantic relationship with, you're far more likely to attract a good match than if you're walking around all day desperate because you believe you've lost every chance you have of a happy relationship in the future. That sense of desperation is sensed by everybody you come in contact with, just as when you smile, people are far more likely to smile at you, which therefore would increase your chances of, say, being asked out on a date. Another fun example that I like to mess around with is this concept of a replicator. And anybody that's watched Star Trek kind of knows what I'm talking about. Most people believe that replicators are an impossible dream. But who's more likely to create a replicator? Person that believes it's possible, or the person that believes it isn't? So in this circumstance, the belief that a replicator is an impossible dream might very well be the thing that's holding you back from achieving it, which is such a humorous concept to me. So in my eyes, law of attraction isn't about achieving something through wishful thinking. It's actually about priming the brain to find solutions so that you can achieve that which you want. You're essentially assigning a task to your brain and then telling it that a solution does exist. And then your brain will work to find that solution for you. We all know how this works. We do it every single day. And that is what law of attraction is talking about. Maybe instead of focusing on what you can't do, believe that it's possible, and then it will be. You know, the impossible is only impossible if you believe it. You're far more likely to achieve the impossible when you believe that it is possible. Take that one. So, if you want to get punched, it is a very good idea to walk around every day angry. Alternatively, if you want to have deep, meaningful discussions with random strangers, walking around in a happy state of expectation is probably going to aid you in that effort. And to me, that is what law of attraction is. And I kind of think that from this perspective, anybody can start to utilize the skill. You can start to understand why it is I choose to believe in this concept and how it applies to your own life. It's very logical, all things considered. And I think that just about anybody should be able to see that from this point. I mean, maybe I didn't explain it as well as I thought. If you don't understand it, I'm not judging you or anything. It's just, I feel like it's pretty straightforward. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Maybe it helped you understand the law of attraction a little bit better. Maybe you're even interested in trying out this belief structure in your own life. I'd definitely be excited to see what kinds of things you experience with it. So yeah, definitely let me know if you're going to try this out in the comments. Additionally, you should head on over to my Patreon page, particularly if you want to provide me with a sense of success and achievement through my videos, because financial contribution really helps provide those sensations to me. You know, it makes me feel secure and excited to keep making more videos. So that's a fantastic way to ensure that I keep making videos for you. You should also click on that thumbs up button to like the video, and then you should also click on the subscribe button followed by the notification bell so that you're notified when new videos are posted. I post new videos every week on Friday at noon, which, you know, might be enough information for you, but you'll be reminded at least with the notification bell. So definitely click on that subscribe button. That's everything I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hoped you learned something, and I hoped that you grew a little bit in the process. Thanks for watching. I will see you over on Patreon, and I will see you again soon. Bye.